Hello and good evening. Thanks for joining us for tonight's edition of Majority Caucus with me, Ali Dawood. Tonight, we would be talking about the coalition of Ghanaian voters known as COGVO. And they protested, or if you like, they marched on the street for so many reasons, many of which, or some of which we'll try to discuss tonight. And to help me do that in the studio, I have been joined in by a very, very important guest. But before I mention his name, though, let me say a very big thank you to the doctors, medical doctors at Konfanochi Teaching Hospital for their fantastic work they did in separating the Siamese twins this evening. It was an about 8 hour long surgery, and that we are very grateful that they were able to do so successfully. Tonight, I have been joined in the studio by one of the conveyors, if you like. I mean,
organizers.
Like organizers. Organizer is too, small a word. I need a bigger title for him. The brains behind the COGVO, Coalition of Ghanaian Voters. I have lawyer Chris Akume. I'm supposed to be joined also by lawyer Abraham Amaliba, but he's stuck in traffic, and obviously we'll try our best to use alternative means to have his voice heard on this show. Thanks very much, lawyer, for your time here.
Very grateful.
Ghanaians are curious, yet another organization. And is it the ad hoc kind of type, are you just coming, and then when the election issues are over, you go in what we call perpetual hibernation? And so we are wondering the reason behind the formation of Coalition of Ghanaian Voters.
Okay, thank you, Ali. The fact of the matter is that I believe that we have come to stay. Because since our democracy has also come to stay, our group will equally stay as long as issues in the public domain relating to enhancement of democracy survives. We will also survive.
Okay, so it is not the ad hoc that we are going to see.
No, not at all. You see, if you also look at it from the point of view that it's a collation of a whole lot of associations, members cutting across from the political divide.
I think that point is very important. Sorry to cut you in. We want to be sure that this is not another appendage of the NDC, and so if you be kind enough to tell our viewers, some of the membership of your this coalition.
Okay, Bernard Mona is known to everybody. He's been a politician traversing the national domain for quite a very long time.
Okay.
His name is a household name. He belongs to the PNC fraternity.
You mean the General Secretary of PNC?
General Secretary of the PNC.
Okay.
Then the freedom, what do you call it? Donko, what's the name? This lady who is the leader of the Freedom Party.
Equia Donko.
Equia Donko was there.
Okay.
Equia Donko was there. There is another contestant of the presidential election from Kumasi, forgotten the name.
Joy, is it the man whose name is abbreviated Joy?
Joy was there. So a whole lot, all the personalities and all the political parties were involved. The leadership of all the political parties were involved. Actually, we were involved. I was involved, even though I belong to the NDC stock. But then it's not a work which was dominated by NDC faithfuls or organized by NDC faithfuls. It cut across. And that's the more reason why on that day you did not see nobody put on any political paraphernalia, no NDC t-shirt, no CPP t-shirt, no PNC t-shirt. It was just Ghanaians from all walks of life who just decided that enough of the insanity in the political domain was enough, and therefore it must be over. That is why we organized the march.
Yeah, but Lawyer Chris, most people have made the argument that perhaps this is an organization or a coalition that has emerged purposefully to counter the disgruntled group called Let's My Vote Count.
No.
It's in direct response to the formation of Let's My Vote Count.
I will not say yes, I will say no, because in one way or the other, it is the menace or the outrage which the Is It Count My Vote group has poured on the political scene or the domain, which has elicited this kind of support or response from us. But then it is not a group or is on a coalition which is opposed to the Count My Vote organization, or a group which is opposed or want to challenge. No, we wanted to engage on a peace march for the purpose of demonstrating to Ghanaians that yes, you can do politics without being vulgar. You can do politics without being disrespectful. You can do politics, in an atmosphere of serenity, calm, and very, very pacific. And that you can just put your views across without any recourse to, an insulting behavior. So we decided we were going on a peace march. And if you saw some of the placards which were carried on that day, they portrayed the intention of the
Lawyer Chris,
the group.
If I ask you the purpose for the formation of this group, what would be your one, direct response to that?
The group came together from all walks of life for one purpose. That is the purpose of restoring or preaching sanity in the political domain. That is all.
Okay, but Lawyer Chris, let's delve into more details of some of the issues you raised based on which you marched onto the streets. There's no doubt the march was very successful. We saw the footages. There was higher turnout, and I'm sure the next time we even organize a similar one, it will even be higher. But
that's going to happen in Tamale very soon.
Okay. Yeah. I will be sure to be following this development.
That would be great.
Lawyer Chris, there are some constitutional issues within this. First, the MPP said they would not recognize the president, a position that I find very unfortunate, because to me, it appears that the MPP is picking and choosing which part of the constitution to work with. And that is not how I think that understanding of the constitution really gives us a sense of citizenship or give us a sense of obedience to the laws of Ghana. I know that you read the constitution in whole. Part, they say, oh, we won't recognize him. But parts, they do a lot of things that gives the impression that perhaps when it suits them, then they are all for it. When it doesn't, then they have all sort of strange arguments to make. The argument about salary approval has been made. Their car loans, housing allowances, all those things have been made. And now the latest twist is that they have filed a question to ask the Minister of Road, the Minister for Roads, about some questions regarding some construction of roads and all that. And then the majority raised the point. Mr. Speaker, according to them, they raised the point before the Speaker, wanting to know, do the minority members of Parliament now recognize the President as a democratically elected and the constitutionally sworn-in President? And they said they wouldn't answer that question. But of course, per parliamentary rules and proceedings, they have the right to ask questions, even though they were not part of the vetting of these ministers and all that. I don't get it. Double standard, if you ask me.
Thank you. I will say that I really don't think that they are picking and choosing. No. what they are simply doing is that they are just disrespecting the Constitution, which is the highest law of this land. That is all. Flagrant violation of the provisions of the Constitution. Total disrespect to the Constitution of Ghana. That is all. That's exactly what they are doing. And if you want us to look at the issue of whether in one vein they do things which show that there's so much contradiction in their art or their utterances, yes, there is. For example, I was told that at the last president's address, when they addressed, they gave the State of the Nation's address, I learned after that some goodies, kebab, and the rest flowed.
Yeah,
and
they were there.
They were there. Now, they took part. Is that not it? Fine. If you agree with me that, you know, that refreshment was an addendum to the president's, you know, delivery, and you will find out that, you know, the motive behind not taking part and the motive behind taking,
but some have said these are peripheral matters. I mean, going for kebabs, even though sponsored by the president.
I agree. You
really
see, if you look at their position, that things which will outlive the president,
yes,
they will take part. Definitely, you know that the monthly salaries which they pay, which they are paid, I mean, they will squander it within 30 days.
Okay.
So that will outlive the president. The kebab and the drink they took was just for a day. It will digest within 24 hours. So definitely that will also outlive the president. But it's sad that issues, policies, actions, discussions which affect the generality of Ghanaians, that's the one they are boycotting. For example, issues to have something to do with the, you know, good roads, hospitals, you know, the police force. Those are the ones they are boycotting. Appointments by president and the vetting of, you know, nomination by president and the vetting of president of the nominees who are supposed to come and deliver on the President's Better Ghana agenda to enhance the governance of this country, in order to provide welfare to the people of Ghana, to bring succor to the suffering people of Ghana. That one they decided they are not going to have. But when it comes to issues like, you know, taking money for their, what they call it, rent advances and the rest, they want to take part. So you wonder whether, you know, it is actually not a matter of, you know, confusion in their minds as to what they are there to do and what they should do than picking and choosing. That's the way I look at it.
I'll go for a quick commercial break, but before I do that, I want you to put this question down. When we come back, you answer to me and my viewers whether indeed the majority would have a point or would have some basis and attempting, as advanced by some members within the majority, preventing the minister from coming to the House and answering questions posed from the minority. But this is a question you would answer when we come back from this break. Stay with me. Majority Caucus returns right after this. Hello and welcome back to the show. If you're just joining us, this is Majority Caucus live on air and online, www.multitvworld.com/stream. In the studio, I have Lawyer Chris Akume. Do you think the majority has some basis to make that claim? We won't allow the ministers to answer questions since they don't recognize the legitimacy of the president and therefore his appointees.
From the constitutional point of view, I mean, by convention, ministers are invited to the floor to answer questions on aspects of, you know, their administration which relates to their offices. So if you're a minister, you are enjoined to respond to the invitation and to answer questions. I think that if you ask me, I'll be very candid that whichever minister attends, and he will be in a position or should be in a position to answer a question put to him by any member of parliament, whether in opposition or in the majority. It does not lie in anybody's, in the might or in the right of any minister to decide which question he should answer and which he should. Once the speaker allows the question to roll or to flow and has identified a member of parliament, duly elected to ask a question, whoever is being asked that question must answer. You see, I believe that the position intended to be taken by the majority is flowing from, the excesses. The excesses of the minority in parliament. I mean, gross acts which are directed to violating the Constitution of Ghana and derailing our democratic process. That's all that they want to do. And I don't think that there's any point going that way. You know how people have a proverb to say that when when you're bathing and a madman comes to take your clothes, you don't get out of the bathroom and chase.
So you, for instance, will not have a problem with persons like Asla Usu, who would mount a platform and call the president names, actually describe the president as a thief. When she was called to retract and apologize, she decides to rationalize it, albeit without success, justifies it. People like her would question a thief's appointees. It doesn't make sense.
No.
I know this is not about logic, but I think politics must also be reasonable. Oh?
I was a little bit taken aback or shocked when I heard Ursula. She's a very good friend of mine. We belong to the same legal fraternity. When she went overboard, and I told myself, look, God, this is madness, and it is madness to an extreme. You understand it? Madness to an extreme, because I couldn't imagine, a citizen of this country who is enjoined to respect the fatherly figure of the president of this nation, more so a woman. I mean, women are supposed to be very decent, and they are supposed to be, even, excuse me, I know men will not agree with me, they are supposed to be more cultured than the men, and more gentle and that kind of. So, when I heard Ursula calling the president that name, I don't want to repeat it. And I said, look, this is total madness. I mean, the lady has gone overboard. She went into a extreme. It was total, it was a moment of, what I call it, insanity. It was a moment of insanity. Because if you reach that stage, temporary insanity, you can do anything. But when you recover, you are out of it. You understand? So I think that that's exactly what happened. She might have been taken overall by the crowd to go that way. I believe that the president must forgive her.
But
you understand?
You see that
must forgive her. You see, I'm saying this because, look, despite the fact that thereafter, she went on to justify.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's very, very sad. But again, there's a proverb, that a sheep who thinks that he's soiling the, public path, is soiling his own nose. It's like destroying herself, honestly. She's totally destroying herself. Her reputation has been at stake ever since she made those outrageous, she made that kind of outrageous statement about the president. You understand? Her profession has been at stake. And people were even questioning, whether at the time that statement was made, she wasn't even in her right state of mind. You understand it?
So you have cause to believe that she was under the influence of something?
I don't know. I don't have that kind of evidence.
But these were sentiments being expressed
these are the
by
sentiments of people that, look, we can forgive her because they think
could
that...
Could it be drugs? Is it
well,
possible?
I mean,
alcohol?
You don't necessarily...
Alcohol?
You don't necessarily come under any influence of alcohol or drug before you make those kind of outrageous. In fact, even...
Extreme excitement.
That is, excitement is one. If you don't control the excitement, you can go overboard like she did. You see, I'm saying this because how, in a normal situation, how could a decent citizen of this country mount a platform when you cannot even call your father a thief, you cannot even call your brother a thief when he's no thief, you know.
Or divorced husband.
Or, you know, your
As the
husband.
news has
Yes.
it.
And then, you know, mount the platform and call the president of the Republic of Ghana.
I want you to hold your horses on that note. I've been told that I have lawyer Abraham Amaliba on the line. Hello, lawyer.
Hello.
Counsel, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Counsel, there has been some recent developments, and that you happen to be the lawyer of some 3 Ghanaian citizens who have dragged the whole minority to the Supreme Court, seeking, among many other things, some reliefs, which include the interpretation of specific clauses. And I want to know that in your, firm conviction, if you think that they have a case, but of course you are their lawyer, perhaps you need to be convinced.
Well, these are 3 Ghanaians who haven't considered the conduct of the MPP minority in Parliament, came to the conclusion that they think that the conduct of the MPP minority in Parliament offends the Constitution, and they are particularly talking about Article 64.2, because when you look at 64.1, 64.1 allows anybody who is aggrieved after the declaration of the results to go to court, which they exploited, and which they used as the reasons for which they are in court, I mean the MPP, 3 petitioners. Now, 64.2 says that without prejudice, whatever the Supreme Court may say, the president is still the president, just to paraphrase. Now, conveniently, they are disregarding 64.2, but enjoying the benefit of 64.1. So the plaintiffs in this matter are of the view that by courting the president and the president's related issues, it is, in view, unconstitutional, and it flies in the face of Article 64.2 of the Constitution. And so they've gone to court, taking a declaration from the Supreme Court to, as it were, declare their conduct minority in Parliament as unconstitutional. So that is the basis for which the 3 individuals are in court.
But Counsel, despite the fact that this is a novel case, I mean, if you like, a situation within the legal fraternity of the Ghanaian jurisdiction, how about the fact that parliamentarians in general, enjoy some sort of parliamentary immunity per the standing orders of Parliament, and even within the Constitution? Is this action going to be possible at all?
Yes, and I know you are talking about Article 115, but
exactly.
That article is limited to the freedom of speech in Parliament, is limited to the debates in Parliament, is limited to proceedings in Parliament, and the proceedings here will be talking about whatever the Kansas captures. And so that is where your privileges end. And so it is not as if a member of Parliament goes amok and uses a cutlass to cutlass people within the Parliament presence, then we will say that no, because he's a member of Parliament, he enjoys immunity, so he can go about killing people. This is a constitutional matter. We are saying that the Constitution has been violated. If that argument were to hold water under the Kufuor administration, Dana Budapi was sentenced by that regime and convicted. Why didn't Abudapi enjoy that same benefit or privilege? I think that it is a threat.
Well, they said the minority then, NDC, protested. They also staged a walkout.
The difference between the two is that in that one, the court had given a verdict and had made its ruling. You can disagree with the court ruling after it has determined a matter. Okay. But this is a matter which is pending. No decision has been taken yet. And yet you have a minority that has come to a conclusion that it's not going to recognize the president. By so doing, you serving the powers of the Supreme Court, by so doing, determining the case without the Supreme Court making a determination of the case. That's the difference between the two. Nothing wrong with a citizen disagreeing with the decision of a court. You can disagree with the decision of the court, but you have to wait for the court to make that determination. But here we are. This is a matter pending. No decision has been taken. You don't know which way it will go, and you are already taking a firm stand saying you are not going to recognize the legitimacy of the president. When the Constitution did not envisage a vacuum. The president is the president for the time being until otherwise stated by the Supreme Court.
But Council, they also make the argument that boycotting and staging a walkout are both parliamentary proceedings. They are tools you use as members of parliament, and so these are not clearly illegitimate. And so one stands to wonder, really, these three gentlemen, do they really have a case, having in mind that these are, constitutional means, if you like, that they are using within parliament?
Yes. The reasons you adduce for boycotting and staging the walkout is to make your boycott legitimate or illegitimate. Now you have a group of people who are given the reason to be that they do not recognize the president. When the Constitution says the president must be recognized. So the walkout and boycott, there's nothing wrong with that. But the reasons you adduce for doing what you are doing is what will make your boycott or your walkout legitimate or illegitimate. And so their reason is as if to say that they have arrogated to themselves the right to determine whether the president was validly elected or not. That is where the problem is. And that is what makes their boycott and walkout as unconstitutional. There's nothing wrong with the boycott. There's nothing wrong with the walkout. So the reasons you adduce. So there are reasons flies in the face of the Constitution. The Constitution is saying that the president for the time being is the president. They are saying that they don't recognize the president time being, and they will not recognize him until the Supreme Court determines him, and that's unconstitutional.
Yeah, finally, Council, let me put this question to you. The minority still insists that it's not as if they have boycotted the entire parliamentary operations. It's just that they are being selective. Things that have to do with the president, they won't, but normal parliamentary operations, they will be part of it, amending some, acts here and there, legislations here and there. But things that emanate directly from the executive, they are, out of that business. And they say that is one of their justifications.
Is that what Article 64(2) says, that you should choose and pick, even though the president has not been declared invalid or invalidly elected, minority should choose and pick which one that they deem fit? Is that what the Article 64(2) says?
Certainly
Everything by the president is valid until the determination of the case. So the Constitution even says that nothing done by the president will be considered as invalid, even if the Supreme Court declares him as not validly elected. So who are they to arrogate to themselves the power to determine which aspect of the president's issues or which aspect of the president's memorandum or bill or meetings in parliament that they should attend? It doesn't say that. The Constitution doesn't say that the minority should choose and pick. They cannot arrogate to themselves right. Okay,
thank you very much, Council. Unfortunately, we have to end the conversation here, and I'm sure that we'll be following this case with keen interest, and we'll be updating our viewers as and when something new crops up. Council, you've listened to another angle of the protest.
Yes.
And the coalition. You have part of these issues also addressed, except that this is taking a legal dimension.
Yes, that's the more reason why in our petition to the Speaker of Parliament, we petition that at least those erring, members of Parliament, those whose misbehavior smacks of, very indecent and uncultured act, coming from parliamentarians who are supposed to be decent, to be up there, must be dragged before the Privileges Committee.
Okay, hold on. You could reach me in the studio and join in the discussion on 0302-211-70124, 0302-211-70124. I have Lawyer Chris in the studio. You've just listened to Lawyer Abraham Amaliba, who is the lawyer for the 3 Ghanaian citizens who've taken the minority to court. I have a caller. Hello? Hello, Masaudu.
Good evening. My name is Masaud.
Hello, Masaudu. You're on air.
Good evening for the good job.
Thank you.
Dauda,
I'm listening.
I'm telling Ghanaians today that the entire NDC, the credibility of the entire NDC and John Mama must be put into question. Why did I say that? There was a saying that tit for tat is never a sin. Boycotting parliament or boycotting president, that is started from MPP. Do you remember when the current president and Asedu Ketia boycott parliament and walk away from John Adams before?
It looks like we're losing our. I have another. Hello, Masaudu. Hello.
Hello.
I've lost Masaudu. I have another Masaudu on the line. Hello.
Yeah, this is Ibrahim.
Oh, this is Ibrahim. Sorry,
Yeah,
Ibrahim. You're on air.
From Dhaka. Yeah. Ali, good evening once again.
Good evening.
And we thank you for the information given out. In fact, we appreciate all that you people are doing. Keep on updating us. You see, these MPP people, they keep on deceiving their supporters. As if in a month or two time, power is going to be turned back and given to them. They are not telling the supporters the truth. See just what Mr. Kwame Pini just said. He started insulting the man. Meanwhile, the man has spoken the truth. They are not telling their supporters the truth. They are deceiving the supporters. They are just throwing dust into the eyes of their supporters. Meanwhile, it's going to go against them. You see, we are urging all NDC supporters to stay focused. There is nothing that the court is going to do for them to gain power. You see.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ibrahim. I don't have much time. I have Yao. Hello, Yao.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. You guys are doing a great job there.
Thank you.
I just want to tell all Ghanaians who are just like me, who know that we went out there to queue to vote for somebody we wanted to lead us as a president. And we know that person has won the elections. That is His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and nobody else. To be assured that these people who are going around fooling their supporters that they have evidence here and there, they have nothing. They have nothing. After we counted the votes and the votes were declared, they came out and told us that there were constituencies where John Mahama got less votes, but votes were added to him. That was the issue. But at the end of the day, they are talking about irregularities. They are not even talking about that again. These are people who had come out to announce that they had evidence. And in fact, they knew that their credibility was at stake if they didn't go to court. So they are just there to kind of cover their ass and nothing else.
Okay, thank you very much.
We know it is a done deal for us, and we are ruling.
Let me pick my final caller, and I'll come back to Chris Akume in the studio. Kofi Boatin, hello, if you're on air. Hello?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to ask a question. What does the boycott take away from the presidency? Just that question, if you can answer it for me.
Okay, thank you very much, Kofi Boatin, for your views.
Who is chief?
Oh, okay. Yeah, Kofi Boatin is an old classmate of mine from the city. But Kofi Boatin wants you to answer his question, whether or not the boycotting took away the shine on the state of the nation. I don't think it did anything of that sort.
It did not.
Okay.
Because it rather brought decency and sanity into the house on that day. You remember when our late president delivered his last address, they wore red and then, some were in black, and then they brought
funeral attire.
Yeah. You know that
this time it was
yes, it's against the norms of parliament to bring placards into parliament.
Yeah.
And these are parliamentarians who, on 2 occasions, have done that. They brought placards. And one wonders whether they are lawmakers or lawbreakers.
That's why I want you to fuse in what Kwame Pinim said about the minority. The same thing that Reku Ruby also said.
Yes. With Kwame Pinim and Reku Ruby, I agree perfectly with them. What the NPP is doing is just much ado about nothing. You understand it? Why do you waste your time on an exercise which will not yield any result? Look, problems which have no remedy must go with their regards. You are talking about 11,000 police stations. You are going to lead evidence in respect of, irregularities in this 11,000 police stations. What it means is that you call 2 or 3, polling assistants, UCs, your own people, to come and give evidence. Is that right? My brother, let everybody listen. I don't want to talk about the merits and demerits of the case, but I'm saying that we have 365 days in a year. Now, if you are going to call 11,000 witnesses from even one from all the police stations, if you take 1 day for one person, you understand, for the person to be led in evidence, to be cross-examined, for document to be tendered and that kind of thing, it will take more than a day. Granting that it will take only 1 day. Divide 365 days by 11,000. You understand? What are you going to have? You are going to have about 11 or 12 years. It means that by the time this case is concluded, we will have re-elected Mahama in 2016. We will have re-elected another John in 2020. And we will have re-elected another John again, the same John again, in 24. So it means that this is a wasted effort. I don't even want to talk about the merits and demerits.
So you agree with the position taken by Kwame Pinim?
Totally. That they should, pick up. You see, when you are holding an egg which has broken, you cannot collect the egg because it will be mixed with sand. The only thing you can collect is the empty shells. What is the value of empty shells to you when the main egg has broken? They've lost the election. Ghanaians have spoken. That is it. Ghanaians have elected the person they wanted to be their president. That is, they must respect the decision of Ghanaians and stop this kind of misbehavior. This kind of call to lawlessness, this kind of call to disorder, this kind of call
including
to
throwing
mutiny.
bombs.
As for bombs, it saddens my heart. Look, those of us who were born before, independence, and who saw the atrocities committed by them, the Kulukugu bomb. Okay. How could you have given a bouquet of flower bomb in it to a schoolgirl, 6 years old, to hand over to Nkrumah? You know that if Nkrumah is going to die, that small girl was also going to die. And you made it happen. Okay,
so Lawyer Chris, what should you expect from the coalition of Ghanaian voters now that you've launched yourself properly?
We have spoken. We have spoken.
Your next course of action.
And then our next course of action is, trying to replicate this kind of action in 1 or 2 other regional capitals. Okay. But the message that we are sending over is that, you see, let's live in peace. We are our brothers' keepers. We don't have any other country apart from Ghana. Once there's an election and the citizens of this country have, validly declared who should be their president, so let it be. If you have a challenge, and rightly so, there's a place designed, there's a venue, a platform designed by, constitution makers to go there and present your grievances. They have elected to go there. So once they have elected to go there, that might be the case. They should not adopt any other thing which should bring disgrace, not to this country, but to them. You see, most of us want multi-party democracy. What they are doing now is killing multi-party democracy. Because at the end of the day, come 4 years, nobody is going to,
Okay.
You understand what I'm talking about? But we want a very vibrant and energetic...
I'm sure very vibrant and energetic...
opposition.
Opposition.
You see,
that
they are doing very well in opposition.
Ghana,
they must continue to stay in opposition.
Lawyer Grace, Lawyer Grace, we have to end tonight's discussion on this note. But I will be here on Thursday, same time, same place, same channel. And till then, thanks for watching out there. And then I'll be here next Thursday. Bye-bye.